Happy New Year, guys, and welcome back to Shahnameh with Arvin. Merry Christmas. My birthday was a few days ago. Um, let's get started. I know I'm sorry for the delay of maybe a month of no videos posted, but here we go again. My favorite video. So let's get started. As I said in the previous video, Zahhak was the son of a ruler. He was the son of the ruler of Arabia named Mardas. He was known as the snake shoulder. He was evil and he was controlled by Ahriman. He made war upon Jamshid. He was welcomed by many of Jamshid's unhappy people. Eventually, Zahak brutally killed Jamshid. Zahak also means demon of greed or a greedy person. Mardas. He was a ruler of Arabia. And Arabia was a deserted place and neighbor of Greater Iran. Arabia was a deserted um and Martez was a good man. He was a believer to his God and was always praying. Every night in absolute darkness, he went to a nearby creek, washed his hands and face, and worshipped his God until morning. Iblis, or the Iblis, the devil, Lucifer, and Satan are the same. They were all on the same team. They're all on the same team as Ahriman. So when Zahak was young, Ahriman was his friend. They became close friends. But then, eventually, Ahriman told Zahak that he should be the ruler of the country because he was Mardas's son. And you know that if there's a king, then the king's son always becomes the next king. Um, so yeah. Um, but then, so then Ahriman was like, "You should be king. You should be the one. Take over your dad. Take control of this kingdom. This should be yours." And at first, Zahak said, "Not by the hair on my chinny chin chin." And eventually, with all those um all those days of convincing him and convincing him and convincing him and convincing him, he finally convinced to kill his. He was finally convinced to kill his father, um, and take over the kingdom. And how did they kill his father? Let's see. So Ahriman dug up a hole and covered it with leaves, and then he went behind the tree. And when my dad, he had a special walking route. So then he was doing his walking route, he fell into the pool and pit that they dug and then um Aquaman filled up the pit again and Mardas suffocated to death. So then um Ahriman dressed up as a cook without Zahak knowing. He had no idea. Okay, no idea. And then Ahriman was like, okay, if I can give you. And then Ahriman said I could give you, or the cook dressed up as Ahriman dressed up as the cook, said, "I can give you the best food you'll ever eat." And then Zahhak said, "Yeah, sure, go for it." So he gave him cow meat, and it just became a thing now. And then Zahhak loved it. He was like, "Oh, what can I do for you in return?" So then Arman said, "Can I get a kiss on both of your shoulders?" So then Zahhak said, "Go for it." So then Arman came up and kissed his first shoulder and his second shoulder. A few seconds later, snakes grew out of them. And then Zahhak was like, well, then Zahhak um got scared and he looked back at the chef to say what happened. But um actually the chef was gone. He disappeared technically. Um and then he after that he got a lot of doctors, nurses, and no um paramedics to help him, but none of them could figure it out until he tried on one doctor, which was also Ahriman disguised as a doctor. And Ahriman told him that the only way for these snakes to get out of your shoulders is not to keep on cutting them off, it's to let them feed on people's brains. So, people's brains. So then, from that day on, Ahriman, um, Ahriman kept on, um, killing two young men every day to um feed his snakes. So then at this time, Jamshid, the king of Iran, becomes arrogant, and which technically means that people dislike him. His people dislike him. And then Zahhak presents himself to a savior to the unhappy Iranians and killed Jamshid. And among the slaves, there are two of Jamshid's daughters, and of two men that became Zahak's royal chefs. And each day, remember how I told you that each day two men were killed to feed his snakes? Now, these people wanted freedom. So each day, they save one out of two young men by sending him off to the mountains and substitute the man's brain with a sheep or a cow. Technically, so like say I'm a sheep and I'm a human. So what you might be thinking, why don't he just save both of them and then get two sheep heads? Now, the snakes aren't dumb, They have a brain too. So um they had to at least so what they did they got the brain out of the cow and they got the brain out of the human. So then they cut the cow brain in half and cut the human brain in half. So then they put one half of the cow brain and one half of the human brain for one brain. So then it tasted like a human brain. And then one half of the other half of the cow brain, other half of the human brain. So it also tasted like a human game brain still. So then, um, so then, so then he gave those to them. So at least one of the men had to get killed, but another one at least could go back to their family. So, and then one night, Zahhak dreamt of 3 warriors attacking him, and the youngest warrior knocked him down with his ox-headed mace, and then ties him up and drags him off toward the mountain. So the hawk woke up and he was super scared. So he got a few of his wise men to come help him and see what it meant. And the men told him that eventually he would die. So the hawk didn't want this to happen. So he sent 3 of his warriors to go find that man with the ox-headed mace and kill him. And also, I have to mention that the wizards told Zahhak that it was Jamshid's warriors. So, yeah, Jamshid's people that had the ox-headed mace. Anyway, um, anyway, so Zahhak was thrilled to learn the identity of the enemy and ordered his agents to search the entire country for Faridun and captured him. So his name was Faridun. And then the agents couldn't kill the boy, but they found his marvelous cow and killed the cow only. So the cow was actually rainbow. So the head was red, the cock of his head, and then the cow was rainbow though. So then Faridun got really mad, and then yeah. Next, in the next video, we're going to be learning about Kaveh and Freydun. Actually, my uncle's name is also Kaveh, so I'll be excited for that one. In the next video, we'll talk about the revolution against Zahhak. That's going to be very important. And remember, those who learn to fail, those who fail to learn from history are are condemned to repeat it. Just like Churchill said. Bye! The end of this video. Thanks for watching. Stay free and brave until next time. And by the way, Happy New Year!